One of the most underrated times of the year to restart or to start on your goals is the springtime. Think about it. This is when new life is forming. It's getting brighter. Days are longer. People seem to be more energetic. They want to go outside. They have all of a sudden this burst of energy. And I think a lot of people, if that is where you kind of align or lean towards, you should take advantage of that. Me, I am a winter baby. I was born a couple days before the new year. So I tend to want to do my new year because it's in alignment with my birthday. Whereas if I wasn't born then, I would likely choose spring because I'm more of a cyclical kind of going with the flow of seasons in everything I do. I know I would lean that way naturally. So if you are like that, where you feel not aligned with the January start, the early year, maybe the winter grind, the great lock-in, but you're aligned with the season, with the spring of the new bloom, this video is helpful. This is also helpful for the person who, like me, starts in January, but maybe needs a reevaluation when it comes to, you know, the quarterly marks. This is what I tend to do naturally is every 90 days, I'm looking at what went well, whether it's with fitness, whether it's with business, whether it's with nutrition. I'm looking at, okay, what supplements were I taking for this amount of time? Did they really work? Because after 3 months or 3 cycles, if you're a woman, you could pretty much see if something's actually beneficial for you at that point. I will start off talking about the 90-day reevaluation because I think this is helpful whether you are the person who's starting, restarting, or just continuing on and want to see if what you're doing is in alignment with the goals you set for this year. The first thing I'll say is you want to sit down, you want to evaluate what you wrote down in the beginning of the year or at the end of last year. You want to sit down and think about or write about, like a journal prompt. What went well? What didn't go well? What did I give it my all? Did I do my best? Was I consistent? And you want to be brutally honest with yourself. If you're someone who isn't able to be brutally honest with yourself at this point, maybe consider asking someone who's close to you and knows your goals. But you want to be so honest because this is about you and you. This is not about anybody else. And if you find in that process that the answer is no, I didn't give it my all. I wasn't consistent. I didn't do what I said I was going to do based on these goals that I wrote out. This is the point where you ask yourself, am I willing to give more than what I've given? Am I willing to do the work, mental and physical? Am I willing to, give this up or add this on? You want to be, again, brutally honest with yourself, because if the answer is no, and you don't feel like you're willing to give more going forward to this goal, this is when you really want to reevaluate, really examine if what you wanted or you thought you wanted is actually in alignment with who you want to be. Sometimes we have goals, but it's not for the right reasons, or we think that's the goal we want, but then it ends up being something different. Sometimes the goal is too big and you're not willing to do certain type of work. There's just a list of reasons why, but if you feel like it's not aligned, it's okay. You can repivot. You could write down the goals. You could figure it out. And I'm going to talk in a couple minutes about how you can reset and move into another goal that feels more aligned. Hopefully that makes sense, but it's really just about if you didn't give it your all, it's really evaluating if it's what you still want and if you need to pivot to something different, or no, maybe you're just not going to go after the goal at all. Now, if you answered yes, I gave it my all, I did the work, I was disciplined, I took the breaks, the rest, but I was focused, locked in on the goal, and yet you're not where you want to be, there is an aspect that might apply that people don't think of. Sometimes you just need to keep going and be patient with the boredom. A lot of times we don't realize that the boredom, when we're bored of the consistency, that's where we reach the goals. That's why when they say with fitness, people are doing the same exact workout, and you just keep adding weight or you do it a little bit longer, more reps. It's because it's that boredom. It's hard for a lot of people to stick to it for long enough to see the results. We want it to be quick overnight, and that's not how it works. Like I said in my last video, a quote I loved when I was coming up in business. It doesn't happen overnight, but when it happens overnight. Everybody around you is going to think that you didn't do that much work because all of a sudden you had the abs or you had the business or you had the savings. But you know what you did behind closed doors. That's the thing, is it's always between you and you. Nobody else is going to really know what you're sacrificing, what you're giving. You do that in the dark. You get up early, you stay up later, you have the battles in your head. And I have a video coming up. It's on my list. I just haven't made it yet, but talking about the mental toughness side. Be aware of that. Be okay with the patience. Now, if you find that it's not about patience, maybe you actually do need to pivot. Maybe what you're doing, you were consistent, but it's not working for you. The supplements may not be working correctly. Like they're not adding to you. They're making you more tired. You might find that your sleeping schedule wasn't right based on the goal you had for fitness. You might find that, say, you're saving money, right? You have a goal of saving $5, $10, $15,000 or whatever that amount is, no matter how big or small. And you've been consistently saving the 10 to 20% of your income or more or less, but you find that you're not getting closer to the goal. And so in this situation, you might say, okay, my job just doesn't pay me enough. Like I have the discipline in place to save the money, but my job is not paying me enough. So this is when you decide, okay, maybe I'm going to get a side hustle, or maybe I'm going to do the research or get a certification so I can get a promotion at my current job and make more money. Or it may be that you go to a whole new position that pays more. It might be that you find a job that's more flexible, that you could work less hours and still be able to work your side hustle, the side hustle that pays you more. Everybody's situation is different. And this is where you get creative, because when you start to focus in on what you want, things start to fall into place. Your brain pays attention to opportunities and things that help you get to where you want to go along the path, but you have to be focused on them. And so be aware of when you're saying yes, when you notice in this reevaluation that your answer is yes, no matter what the yes is, whether it's the pivot or realigning, kind of regain planning, or if it's the yes that I just need to be more patient, whatever that is for you, that is okay. Like this, you are on a journey. The journey is not a sprint, it's a marathon, and you have to continue to push through, whether it's with baby steps or if it's with larger steps. They both will be helpful in your quest to get what you want. You do have the answers. A lot of us were looking for people to tell us what to do. And that's why I try not to tell you exactly what to do, because a lot of this stuff I figured out from listening to people and by trial and error. You have to learn what works for you. What I say in this video, you may not take everything. You may try certain things and figure, okay, there's a better way to do this for me. You can figure that out. In a world where we want these quick answers, these quick fixes, everybody tell us, don't be that person. Take the time to be bored and to really think about what you want. And I promise you, when you continue to do this, great things will happen. I mean, there's going to be hard, tough things that happen. There's going to be discomfort. It's not going to be all roses and sunshine in most cases, but you will feel it. You will feel the change within you, yourself transforming before your eyes, even if you don't see it physically in the beginning. But mentally, you will start to see it. It's so good. And this makes me also think I have another video that's coming up about that specific thing too. So look out for that in the next few weeks. Now, this section here is for the person who may have stopped, not quit, but stopped in the beginning of the year and wants to reset and restart again. This is also for the person who didn't start and wants to begin. Like this is a new year for you. This is the New Year's resolution time for you. This is when you lock in. This section is for you. The first thing I want you to do, you need to figure out what is the thing that you want so badly it keeps you up at night, or you think about it all the time. I don't mean a man. I mean, that could be a goal to get married. I'm not saying that. I don't mean, when I'm saying thinking about it a lot, I don't mean your worries and your concerns. I mean that thing that makes you excited, but you think, I can't have it. I want you to think about those things. Even the delusional things. I love saying delulu all of a sudden in this year, but like all the crazy big goals. I want you to think about all of those things, and I want you to write down the ones that you feel aligned with. Maybe to you, it's the dream home. It could be passing a test. It could be a certain job promotion level, a business. There's so many things it could be. A swim record, a run record, whatever those goals are, I want you to write them down. And this requires feeling. A lot of us, we create our goals just from, oh, this is something interesting. But I want you to really feel and figure out what it is you really, 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 really want. Okay, what you really want. And once you figure that out, I want you to ask yourself why you want it. This step is not like mandatory, but I think it also adds to this first step. And you might actually think about this while you're doing it, but if you don't, this is a step to add in your journal or in kind of a meditation. But why do I want this? I always mention this about the car. You know, the car isn't really always about the car. It's how the car makes you feel. That's why certain people buy certain cars or they dress a certain, it's how it makes you feel. It doesn't have to be about other people or to get the girl, to get the guy. It could be just how it makes you feel confident. There are people who don't need to carry cash because they don't really use it, but they'll the physical act of holding, a couple $1,000s or $5,000 or a couple $100 in their wallet makes them feel rich. It's not about anybody else. It's about them feeling abundant. And the levels of cash in your pocket depends on the person. Some people it's a couple hundred, some people it's a couple thousand. So, keeping that physical cash in their wallet, on their person, or in their safe, it makes them feel a certain way. And so figure out the why of why you want those goals. And I always say this when I talk about goals, I would recommend not picking a bunch of them. I would start with just 2 to 5 max, because you don't want to have so many goals and you're putting so much effort towards so many goals that your brain is scattered all over the place. Third, you want to ask yourself, what are you willing to give or give up to achieve this? Are you willing to give or give up something to achieve this? Because I'm going to let you know right now, you will give up comfort. You will give up time. You will give up your old self, because you do have to die. The version of I don't want to say die physically, but I mean the old version of yourself has to die so that the new version might live. You can't hold on to both. That's confusing to your brain in any case, but you have to evolve and grow to become the person who does the thing that you want to do. This may require you need to write down a schedule, a game plan. I wouldn't be too tight on the schedule or the game plan. I would focus in on small steps, small things. I have a video on atomic habits, and I talk about a little bit about the baby habits you could take to be able to get forward in that. Or you could just read Atomic Habits or look for a summary of the book. I feel like a lot of people don't take into consideration that it is going to take work, because you see a lot of people online talking about manifestation, which again, there are plenty of things that will come to you so easily and so effortlessly when you start locking in and focusing on your goals. I promise you things will manifest, but they don't take into consideration the mental and physical work that you also have to do to manifest. It's not just like, I'm going to sit here and the dream car is going to fall in my lap. It is possible, but you're still doing mental work to get that. People aren't just sitting there like, oh, it's coming. No, they're doing mental work in their head, like visualizing this car, the situations. And so their brain is working. And when you're doing those repetitions of that visualization, that's almost as good as physical work, as working towards that goal. So I don't want you to think when they say, I'm not doing anything, I'm just sitting here and I manifested it. They are doing either mental or physical work towards it. Now, this makes me think of when I took my series 6, 63, 26, and 65. They are investment licenses to be an investment advisor, a principal over people who have an investment license, and then the 6 and 63 is to be able to be an investment representative. And in this case, I was the third person in my office who actually passed all the tests, or actually was the first person to pass all the tests, but I was the youngest person to pass the first 2 or 3 tests that I mentioned. And at that time, I knew what I had to sacrifice in order to do it. My comfort, I had to sacrifice time. I couldn't go out for that short period of time. I made sure that I was home by a certain time. I woke up a certain time so that I could study. And when I was studying, I wasn't just studying. I was visualizing and speaking out loud like, hey, I am the best test taker I know. And I believed it to my core. I didn't know how good other people around me took tests, but I knew I could take a test. And I knew I could do it well. I saw myself getting over 85% on all those tests. And I did. The last test is 65. They changed the rules so you couldn't see the actual test percentage, but I passed it. And I saw and I felt how I would feel when I saw that I passed the test after all that work I did and I passed it. How I got goosebumps when I would speak about it. Still to this day, I get chills because it was so surreal to see it in my mind, feel it in my body, and then for it to happen in real life. That's what you have to do. You have to figure out what you're willing to give, what you're willing to let go of, and you got to visualize and picture yourself. Or if you're not a visual person, because I'm not super visual, I'm more of the feeling side of the visual. I could close my eyes and I feel what it feels like to do that. Feel into it. Feel yourself crossing the finish line. Feel yourself building the business. What is it going to feel like when you cut the ribbon in front of your shop? What is it going to feel like when your mom or your dad, whether they're living or they're in heaven right now, and they could see you, see, this is what I'm talking about. You got to get emotional about it. They could see you do it. They could see you accomplish when you could see you accomplishing it. And that's what you have to feel. And then from there, I recommend writing yourself a personal contract. So this is the 4th step. Write a personal contract. This is a contract with yourself, you and you. You could have a visitor. You could have a witness, like a real contract. So it's like you're going to a notary, like it's a real, true contract, legal contract. And you write out, I declare I am, this is what I'm doing. It's your game plan. It is your contract with yourself that you are going after this goal and you are going to achieve it. And the way I see it is, even if you don't hit that goal, the fact that you did that, the effort that you put towards it, that is what changed you. The journey, the pressure, the mental toughness you have to go through and push through in the process is what makes you become that new version of yourself. That's how you get there. It's about when you fail, when you want to quit so bad in your core, like you want to quit so bad, but you keep pushing. That's where champions are made. That's where the business owners are made. That's where the millionaires are made, or the fashionistas, the people who you see, influencers online that got from this place to that place. It's because they're putting in the work. It's not easy. It is easy in some sense, but it's not easy. Lastly, go after it with everything you got. That's step 5. Follow the plan and rework the plan if you need to. I like to use this is my planner. I have another one up here that's for my reading journal and my habit tracking and stuff like that for fitness and whatnot. But this is where I put all my scheduling. I write down when I'm going to write my YouTube videos. I write down any work stuff in here, any important dates. I'm locked in here. I have my physical journal and I write in my journal. Like I created this person, this version of me with time, with patience. She wasn't built overnight. She was built brick by brick, and she's continuing to be built. I'm continuing to build myself. So understand that the patience, the part that is hard is being patient enough to push yourself through it. And I believe in you 10,000%. See the goal in your head, or feel the goal in your head, and go after it with everything you got. And that's where the magic happens. But I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. With all my love, Lana.